Welcome back to the Davy Brown 990 restoration. For those of you new, my name's Barry. Look what arrived in the post on Saturday. I was talking to Stuart down at Barcley Williams on Friday. He said the valve was ready. He popped it in the post. It arrived Saturday. Now I know today's Tuesday. It's been sitting here on the kitchen table since Saturday morning because I wanted to open it with you guys and we'll have a look at it together. Right, let's get it opened. Let's see what it is. Let's crack on. Tell you what, his parcel tape's good. Aye, by God it is. When I posted this away to him, I had it wrapped up in gaffer tape because it was the only thing I could get that would stick. Nothing else would stick. Just bits of paper. Right. Oh, look at that. Nice bit of packing. There's, have a look. Make sure there's nothing else in the box. Nope. I'm going to keep that. You never know, do you? You never know. Right. One valve chest. One plate that has the shims attached to go underneath. Bolt and your dowel. Now, tell you what, it's well wrapped up, isn't it? By golly gosh, get a pair of scissors. Now, when I spoke to Stuart on Friday, he was telling us that they tested mine. His son had tested mine, put it on their test rig. He had to drop the spool by 50 thou to get it to seal in order to pressurize so they could continue to test it. And as he says, in reality, it wouldn't have worked in the tractor because the spool in the tractor can only drop 7 thou. I think he said there was only 7 thou of movement on the spool whilst it's in the tractor. So he says it wasn't going to work anyway. So it needed a full machine overhaul. So he had a one on the shelf that he said he would send me up as a service exchange unit because that's what Stuart does. If yours is so bad, he will do your service exchange. I've got to be careful with this because there's oil in here. Quite obviously, oil in here. That's why I've got the towels on the desk for. Well, not my desk, it's on the kitchen table, isn't it? Or in here tonight because it's absolutely freezing cold outside. Right, now we can see here we have, oh, look at that, man. Doesn't that look the business? Tell you what, that's just, I'll wrap this back up in that polythene when we're ready because this isn't going to go back in the tractor in the very near future. It's going to go back in, obviously, but it's not going to go back in the very near future. So we can see here we have got lovely needle valve. Now, straight end on that one. I've got one with a bent end. And that's the 3/8 needle valve. My old block, my old valve chest, had the 7/16 needle valve in it. That's just a donkey's that. Lovely. Right. So, Stuart said what was happening was they had to drop the spool by 50 thou in order to get it to pressurise. He said it was still passing, I'm sure he said past the hold valve. So he said, and that was the crucial point. It wasn't just the spool and the sleeve that needed a looking at. It was the hold valve as well. So he said it was just, it's more cost effective and efficient for him to send me a service exchange, for him to machine mine, refit it to this standard, pop it back on his shelf, and it will become someone else's service exchange unit. It just means like this, we're not sitting waiting for weeks for the machining part of it to get done. Now, Stuart also did tell us, while they were doing this, his sons did try their very best to get some video of them testing this and the results of that test. I'm waiting for those videos to arrive. When they do, we'll get them edited, we'll get them set up onto YouTube so everybody can see exactly what goes on down in Stuart's place while he's sorting all this out. But doesn't that look amazingly clean? It's lovely, that. 2 new caps, new spool, new sleeve, new PRV valve, latch valve, TUC valve there, and the operating side of the spool. Non-return valve, that one. Okay. Lovely, that, isn't it? The reason why it sat here since Saturday morning was A, I wanted to open it with yous, but B, I've just been so busy this week where you've just never stopped trying to get things ready. As you see from the community area, I've got the front wheels now back on the tractor. Thanks to Terry Robinson, who, like, it's amazing what a pair of fresh eyes will do. I had the plan in my head of what was going to happen with that tractor and how it was going to happen. The weather at the minute in the northeast is just unreal. Today has been absolutely beautiful, bright blue skies, blue sun, clean sunshine, but by God, it's been freezing at 3 degrees. So we've been getting what we can get done indoors when we can get it done. So we have prepped the final drives there already. The 4 studs are in. Thanks to Campbell, who sent us a photograph of some work that he was doing. Amongst those photographs was a picture of the final drives that he had stripped. I'll pop them into the community area for those of you interested. Pop across, have a look at them. He's got a cracking photograph of his hub puller that he puts a hydraulic jack into to pull the brake hubs off. But as I say, I'll pop them up in the community area, pop across and have a look. One of the photographs in that was one of his final drives that he was busy with. And as sure as the position of the 4 studs that go around the top, and I had mine 1 hole out of position, I had mine 1 hole too far forward. Square that up tonight, that's ready. Last night I got the steering wheel on and the steering links. So the front wheels are now tied together, tied to the steering wheel. So we'll use that to steer the tractor with. I need to put in 2 final drives have got to go in, seal carrier's got to go in on the offside, and the brake shoes on the offside. Then we can get it shifted. We can get it up to the other garage where we can get at it and work with a bit of space, with all of the equipment that's up there, and most of the parts is up there. This will go back onto the selector, and we'll video all this. This will go back onto the selector and get set up with this plate. The plate bolts on underneath here, comes out this way, and it's so that the arm that operates the spool, the lever's on that, it goes on that way, the lever's on that and pushes up against the bottom of the spool valve, operating the spool. And as I say, if go back to this video, have a look at it. I had it in my head that that spool allowed oil through to the implement, i.e. in this case the lift cylinder, and it doesn't. It allows the oil to come out of that point there, point C in the diagram, and it just drops the pressure across the valves, and the pressure in front of the valves opens them, and that's what controls the attachments, not the spool valve. Now, that, as I say, will get set up on the selector. It will get put back into the tractor once we get it up there, because we have the engine crane up there. On care in my garage here, I've actually screwed a beam, a round steel bar, across the top of the joists, the roof joists, so I could hang a chain set on to put this in. But then I got to thinking, I need to be able to see through the hole that this will sit in, to see inside for the diff lock, to make sure the diff lock was in place, and to make sure that the pinion shaft goes in and collects all the bits up without anything dropping out. Wouldn't like to be doing that, would we? Hopefully the video on Saturday, fingers crossed, it's all weather dependent. The plan is Friday pop up and get the small trailer, take it back to our other storage facility, load in the 2 final drives, load in the engine crane, leave it up there overnight. Saturday morning, down here, sharpish with the trailer, hopefully final drives go on without any issues, get bolted up, back up the storage, pick up the rear wheels and tyres, down, wheels and tyres on, then onto the low loader trailer to get it shifted back up there, out the way, and put away for the night, and then get tidied up. Hopefully, that's the plan. And as I say, it's all weather dependent, because it all has to happen outside. Once the left hand side final drive goes on, the tractor is too wide to come back into the garage at that point, because I have nowhere to put the toolboxes. I cannot get that back in with the toolboxes in, and I cannot get my toolboxes through the side door, because there's a step about this big, and I cannot get them up the step. So once we start, we've got to have weather forecast for a clear, dry day. So I'm not bothered about the cold. We can wrap up against the cold, and we can lash on, keep ourselves warm. We'll just work a bit harder, eh? But hopefully Saturday, what the intention is Saturday is to time-lapse video it, because I'm not going to have time to keep checking the cameras, checking the audio, make sure everything's working properly. What I'm going to do is I'll stick these somewhere where we can get a couple of time lapses running, and we'll see, at least you'll see it getting put on. At the end of the day, putting the final drives on is simply a bolt-on job. There's nothing technical about it. There's nothing like fanciful about it. You simply line everything up, put it together, put the bolts in, tighten them. That's it. We'll do another in-depth video of setting this back up on the selector body, building up the ram shaft, putting the ram shaft into the selector, putting everything at the tractor, checking that it's there. A big thank you to Stuart and the boys for sorting the valve chest out for us. It's something I couldn't have done at home, because I don't have the machinery or the ovens to cook this in. Because as Stuart says, you knock the sleeve out, you put your new sleeve in with a compound that has to be baked in an oven. Then they reassemble it. It's been machined, reassembled. That is, all intents and purposes, a brand new valve. Right, so as I say, mega thank you, Stuart. Thank you so much indeed for that. Anyone wants tractor parts, hydraulics or mechanical parts, there's a link in the description below to Stuart at Barcley Williams. There's also an end screen as part of the final page of the video. There's a link on there to Stuart as well. Take you to the website, give him a ring, tell him I sent you. Right guys, thanks very much. As always, time's greatly appreciated. But remember, don't overthink it. It's only nuts and bolts. We'll catch you in the next one. Hopefully, if the weather's good, putting the back end on. See you now. Bye.